This is I'm just showing the examples on the inductive and deductive driving, creating the competitive strategy in a step-by-step lean manners, which in a cost which I developed, which is about entrepreneurship and new competitive strategy, new business venture, which is like an octopus. It's very flexible. You can grab this and that, which is similar to the inductive and deductive. So when you open up your opportunity, your consciousness on the environment, you can and your capabilities are very flexible, and you can simply grab the things in a very robust and flexible and agile manners, and that is the characteristics of the competitive strategy from the competitive strength for targeting and entrepreneurial opportunities, which again is a new business ventures. And nowadays, the new business ventures and entrepreneurship is not only focusing on individuals, but also focusing from a very mature organization. So we call it intrapreneurship. And let's demonstrate. I just want to demonstrate to you this ambidexterity at the entrepreneurship level, which is again your next assignments. But your assignment is focusing on not on entrepreneurship, but on corporations and companies, big companies, and there are a lot of competitive strategies that can link to competencies, which I assume that you already have talked about it, from era 1 to era 2 to era 3 to era 4. The different business models and organizational models and different strategies moving from this stakeholder, shareholder-driven all the way to elite groups, to customers' value propositions, to stakeholders, and holistically and digital platform, which I will not touch upon it, and I will just go directly to what I want you to do, which is delivering about a minimum viable products situations through lean competitive strategies based on the inductive and deductive, and based on the ambidexterity at the entrepreneurship level. This is a situation where, if you recall Zappos, okay, Zappos is a companies, well, it's a big companies now. These are the pioneers, the investors, the entrepreneurs creating the company. One of them has already unfortunately passed away. I think it's a gentleman in California. And so Zappos, what did they do? Well, very simple. From the data and theory and data theory and data and theory and data. So let me move on to theory, to data, which is similar to hypothesis, which is similar to competitive strategies. And of course, you need certain competencies to be able to move that. And particularly in this case, we are talking about competitive strategies driving the developments of competencies, not the other way around. But when a company grows into a maturity stage, the competencies takes over and becomes more and more significantly important, and therefore it drives the competitive strategy. So the precedence road of competitive strategies, or the competencies, or something that is very, very important for the companies to influence the organizational success and growth and business expansions. We call the core competencies that come probably a later stage and becomes more and more important. If you look into the theory the data which I have put on the class on the second YouTube presentation, which this one would also be on the YouTube broadcasting, is the test card. Well, it's a simple concept, similar to what I have just mentioned to you. If you go to the YouTube, which is very, very simple. If you do not have, let's say, much literature reviews or ideas, but you have some experiences and intuition, that was back in 1999 when we crossed over to 2000, which is Y2K times year 2000's back time. And everybody was trying to pull off from the internet, and because of the internet bugs that will probably cause chaos cities and in computer systems, and therefore a lot of people's are a lot of investments on computers, but maintaining the computer systems and correcting using the programmings and adjusting the devices so that the Y2K problems would not be posing a significant problem to the company. And but these examples, investors, entrepreneurs has some idea, and they think that this is the right time. And so, but they are not so sure. That was back in 1999 that the internet was still not quite prevalent, and so they forms a hypothesis, which is a subsection on so many theories and knowledge that he has, which is about theory and knowledge. And that he, of course, he has a lot of knowledge and theory based on his experiences and based on his team's interaction and things and his career. But he picked up one of the knowledge and theory that he thinks that that he wants to make use of, and so you want to explore. You want to explore the opportunity. You want to see whether this opportunity can be exploited, and in a quick sense. So it is very very much agile, very much lean, and therefore the correct and having the characteristics of the ambidexterity, particularly for entrepreneurship and new business ventures. And again, it could also doing the same thing for companies, big companies wanting to develop a new business venture. And so he came up with a hypothesis: could customers who buy shoes online do exist? It was not existing before. It's not like today. So he put on this hypothesis and start to go in from the theory or slowly cycle through the data. So that is the deductive processes. And so next thing he want to do, he want to test it and want to see whether any data is revealing what the hypothesis is in a very simple sense. So what he do? Well, he does not. If you read through all these the words that I posted on here, is the founder did not put a large amount of seed money into the pre-stock, and instead he took the camera, right, and go to the local shopping market and shoe shop and picked up a couple of the good shoes and took the photograph and posted on his website and see the reactions. And in fact, people do come and wanting that pair of shoes, and so he came back to buy the shoes and ship the shoe to the buyers. And that was the explorative sense making of opportunity. So he confirms his hypothesis, and so he sees the opportunity and trying to exploit it. And that is how he started to move to his his company. And as the companies continues to grow and to learn take the shape and to learn, so he start to when the companies get implemented according to the things that I have to share with you in the second YouTube, that you will see that you will generate a lot of data, and that data will be reflected upon and learn about it and analyze on it, and so he generated a lot more ideas. And a simple way you can give it to every employees, and or you can put it on your pocket. It's capital learning card, and or maybe something new, maybe one hypothesis card, but capital learning card. And we believe, so they believe that blah 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 it's going to happen through the and they observe it, and then from there they learn about it, and then therefore they take action on what they are learning, and so they take actions on what they're learning based on the observation coming from the data. So this is a complete hypothetical test card, and the data's theory cycle on the learning card. And from there, he therefore generates a lot of competitive strategy to allow the companies to position themselves competitively, and so that the businesses are sustainable in a sustainable, competitive manner, that the revenues keeps coming in and top it up and things like that. So this couple of things that that they do, and let me, you already familiarize, and so I'll show to one or two learning card, which is this learning card that which is really nothing but the business models, and which is really nothing but the competencies, business competency area also. What we call it a strategic domain that you have already studied, and you're supposed to present at the end of the day. But again, you know, all of you have to really improve the capabilities to provide a good analysis and a report. So the basic business competencies is demonstrated in here, and why this is competitive issue in business competency. Let's pause here. Well, first of all, competencies demonstrating your at a very fundamental level, it demonstrates your attitude. Okay, it demonstrates your attitude. It demonstrates your attitude of you doing a business. Okay, so are you able to look at from this graph the attitude? So if I give you a final examination, there's no need to go for the questions and things. I just ask you one question. Can you answer to me? Anyone want to raise the question? Anyone want to answer the question? If you, I'm sure that everybody have gone through the papers, right? And assignments talking about strategic domain, strategic orientation, strategic and business competencies, competitive strategies, and competitive advantages, or whatever. And not only that particular things you have already studied for many years, maybe 3 years already, maybe this is your last year, or maybe this is your the end of the third years. Well, to whatever the degree, whatever the courses you have run, plus your own this daily understandings and reading. Can you tell me why at the fundamental level of business competency, which is about attitude, which is really a driving force for competitive strategy, where is the attitude? Where is the attitude? Why is an attitude concerning about business competitive strategy? Why is the attitude is so fundamental right here in the business model? And business model is competitive strategy importance and brings architectures and logics of operations. And so tell me, where is the attitude? Anyone want to, turn on the cameras and present yourself? So let me, have a good understanding on you. That whatever you say, it's I really understood. Sometimes, when you say something on the essays, I don't understand, and maybe a lot of plagiarisms. Any plagiarisms takes more than 10%. It's not good. It's already not so good, and more than 30-40% is supposed to be in the red zone, and in the yellow zones, and crossing over the 30% is the red zone. That means that you cannot get your degree. If you are PhDs, you cannot get your degree yet. You must correct immediately. And then if you still continue, and then your degree is forfeited. Okay, and things like that. And if get caught after you got your degree will be not only taken back, but also you will be brought to the court. And according to the Thai law, 1 year in jail. Okay, only 1 year. I'll give you a penalty. You have to pay a lot of money, but 1 year in jail. So doing copying, it's in Thailand is a 1 year in jail. For in other country maybe a longer time. And plus you're blacklisted in academically, and so next time when you go to study all over the world, you are running into trouble. Okay, so show me, where is the attitude for business, competitive strategy? Why is competitive strategy why attitude is so important for business competitive strategy? Well, from this business model, that is the reasons why I say that it's impossible to have plagiarism. Why I'm still receiving plagiarisms 1%, 2%. Well, of course, when you do the literature review, certainly there are some because you're reading things, but I'm not asking you to do a literature review. So plagiarisms, should not be there. Less than 10% for research-based papers on plagiarism, which is fine because a lot of the ideas crossings, but totally the idea is still new. But a simple question like this, if everybody is plagiarized, if I ask you a question and everybody plagiarized and you write a good essay, what are you trying to do? Proving that your essay writing it's 100% correct or what? It's no meaning for essay, right? And if every companies keep on copying and where is competitive advantage? Where is competitive advantage? I mean, by now you already should know that being competitive advantage from the competencies and resource perspective, from business model perspective, is number one. Is that business model or business competencies or resources or collective of actions, constellations of actions or collective actions or synergistics of actions or reinforcements of actions, do they deliver value? Do they deliver a value to your company? Do they deliver a value to your customers? Do they deliver a value to your stakeholders? That's a simple question, right? And if you're doing a business model, and you see every time when I ask a question, it ends up that I answer my own question. So are you sure that you can get benefits from me? And if I give you the final exam question, what is the benefit? There's no benefit. And there is no bargaining power. You have no bargaining power because all come from my idea. I cannot sit myself down. All right, it's my own question. You never participated, and suddenly say, Chance, why should I get why I'm getting a B or B plus? Well, since the very beginning of the day until today, you have never demonstrated any interactions, and there is nothing that proves that you get an A or even B plus or probably a B. All you're saying is that you keep on quieting and quiet and quiet and quiet and quiet and quiet. And every question that I raise, you are just taking over and memorize it and copying, and all the reports are plagiarized. And then at the end of the day, the final exams time, if I ask you problems or reports and then plagiarize the games, and why do I don't get A? Well, you don't get A since the very beginning. So where is the attitude again for competitive strategy? Where is the attitude for competitive strategy? Something so simple question. And we are business students. We're supposed to bear in mind, have in mind every day and day out and moments and seconds how we're going to be competitive. And this is not about just this course, the competitive that competitive. This course is a consolidated courses that allow you to consolidate all the activities and all the actions and all the knowledge that you have learned before, whether it's from brand or marketing or operations or productions or financial accounting or whatever, into a holistic manner in such a way to move your company to a direction that can win. That's competitive. That things are competencies. So there's nothing to memorize. Things are very, very, it just pops up. It just, that's why I ask you to talk about knowledge and theory and data, data and theory. So what does it mean? In ambidextrity sense. That's assignments I want you to take a good look at. That means that the knowledge gotta flow. It's not just like I teach you, and then your knowledge gets into your brain and stuck in your inventory. And then the customer asking for, excuse me, can you suggest a competitive strategy? And that knowledge is still stuck in your inventory. And we are business students and business strategies that we have learned supply chain management. So what is supply chain management? Well, don't get things stuck on your inventory. Make your inventory turnover. The number of times that your inventory turns over more, relative to your sales, your sales divided inventory, and that means that's good. And from the accounting perspective, from the financial management perspective, which you have learned before, and from the supply chain management perspective, you gotta flow your inventory. You gotta move your inventory. Otherwise, it's just stuck there with you're not using your asset. So your asset is not working. Your asset doesn't generate cash flow. So if I ask you a simple question that I'm sure that you have already learned a couple of financial management, cost 1, cost 2, cost 3, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just show me how are we gonna win? Well, you gotta utilize your asset. You gotta move your asset to the cash flow. And so that it generate the profit for you, which is profit and loss statement. That's how the trees are interrelated. As simple as that. And that is all about competitive strategy. When I look at your projects, I don't see any clear concept, which I give you a very, very important assignment, which trying to teach you trilogies of, and I haven't finished the attitude. I'm still talking about attitude. I'm not deviating. I'm just talking more and more about the attitude. I'm also talking about attitude. Your attitude of treating asset, your attitude of utilizing the asset, your attitude of understanding inventory, or your attitude of moving the inventory. So attitude, it's about what? Attitude, it's about how you're gonna look. Well, it depends on different levels. The marketing side will be the attitudes of taking care of the customer, which is the who side, right? If your attitude is on the total perspective side, then your attitude is about how to synergize the whole company together in a way that it really, really utilize your asset and really, really, design and develop it and let it flow to the customers so that you turn into cash. So you know, whether we are talking about financials or accountings or marketings or branding or competencies or business research or business models or the social psychologies or community development or entrepreneurship or whatever, it's all the same. If I have the slide, I will speak on the slide. If I don't have the slide, I can talk hours and hours and hours. There's no need to slide. In USA, when I was teaching at the University of Wisconsin, all the professors teaching at the University of Wisconsin or in Milwaukee or in Madison or in the or at MIT, Stanford, if you go into the YouTube, MIT, Stanford, nobody used the PowerPoint, and we are on the whiteboard. So attitude, it's about how you're going to use the house. So some people use the house in a very wasteful manner, and that's why it comes into the attitudes of lean management. So lean management becomes a very important. Lean management becomes a very important attitude, which drives you to apply your knowledge and turn it into habitual consumptions of strategy, which is called skill. And that links competitive strategies of lean to business lean management. So I can give you so many types of questions. Every time I have so many questions in my mind, you know that, right? When I talk to you one, I can generate thousands of questions. This is what I was trained in USA. When the teacher was talking about things, I already talked about a couple of things. I already think a couple of things. And that's why I can interact with the professors. And that's why the professors like me and try to train me. And that's why I got the scholarship from the US Navy. But when I try to share with you, do you appreciate it? Do you respect? Do you appreciate it? I probably was a 10. I don't know what he's talking about. So without getting into the details, let's move on to back in 1999. Zappos. I'm still back to the theory and data. So back in year 1999, it's against doomsayers on the Y2K box, and after getting into the couple of years and therefore a learning card, and in 2002, after their experiences, and the companies observed that they have to do something about the partnerships, which is the how. Their attitude, their competency, their competitive strategies always get connected to the online customers. And so get connected to the UPS partnership and set up a fulfillment center synergy. So what do they do? So what have you learned in your papers, in your trilogies of the strategy? What your concept of connecting, maintaining a close interconnectivity, the connection with the customer's internet, driving the consumption, promoting, stimulating the consumptions of the customers. That kind of competitive strategy concept, driving the conduct of strategy, allowing them to set up the business competencies, which we call fulfillment center. Fulfillment centers. Fulfillment centers, UPS partnership. So they use the concepts of competitive strategy in driving their strategy that is competency based on partnership and fulfillment centers. So when I ask you to come up with examples, you don't simply just copy examples. You have to digest examples. If I ask you a question, can you look at this page, ideas, the ideas of those things into internet? Can you find that copy what I copied this as a news, knowing from which source, and I put it into a structures of understanding. It's not copying. This is my idea of interpreting in the way it is through the data and theory circulation, which is different from the hypothetical test card and the solution test card. They talk about that. We talk about us. We integrate them. Integration is fine. Integration is the practice of the academician, but not plagiarism. I find no idea of which one it's yours. So how can I give you grade? The guy is on the internet. Should I give him the grade? And every time when we come to the class, everyone is so quiet and turn off the camera. So fundamentally, if I am your CEO, are you sure you will be my partners? Hello? Are you sure you will be my partner in business? Are you sure? You're not even turning on your camera. And so, how do I know who you are? I don't see your smiling. I don't see your expression. I don't see your feedback. I don't see, why should I partner with you? I have no idea. I partner with the internet faster than you. So am I putting statements that that is constructive or not constructive? It's constructive because I am facilitating you. I am coaching you how to be a real, very powerful CEO in the world. I am coaching you through examples, through concepts, through ideas. If you guys appreciate it, you should turn on the camera. If I broadcast this to the YouTube, how will you think people know? Yeah, 2003. Continues to learn. That was year 2002. So I'll just post it in 2003. And again, they learn again and again and again. They look into the whole site. Okay, and they found out a couple of things that they have to adjust, and therefore they said, well, I give you 365 days, 1 year. You can return your goods. You can return your goods. I will pay all the logistics costs. I will return all your money. No question asked. That builds confidence. I can possess, I can have the pair of shoes 365 days. At the end of the day, I'm still doing happy with it. I can return, provided that the pair of shoes is in new situation. That is competitive strategy. It comes from where? It comes from your action. Your concept drive your action, your investments on your action, on your activity, which really becomes a realized competitive strategy. So competitive strategy starting from concept, moving into realized strategy. So we have a planet concept, realized concept, planet strategy, realized strategy. That is strategic concept from a deliberate strategy, plan the strategy, you deliberate on it, taking action. Some emergent issues coming in, doesn't matter. Some are unplanned coming in. Some cannot be implemented because of COVID-19. Fine. At the end of the day, something got realized, got implemented. There are a lot of things we have to learn in the world. If you just keep on learning by working on brainstorming, you are very limited. What do you mean by brainstorming? You tell me. Anyone want to open the videos and tell me what is brainstorming? Do you think brainstorming harm you or kill you or benefiting you? Hello? Tell me. If you are students, brainstorming, good or bad? If I ask you to do a research. Good. Answer my question.
Can you see me?
Yeah. Don't worry, just say it. You know, I like people to participate, you know, because when you participate, I see you grow, right? If you keep quiet, I don't see you grow. Growing is the most important factors in the company, not profit. Hello, not profit. You know, not profit is the past, is the present moment, is the present time, and in fact, it's the past time. Now, according to one of the concepts called balanced scorecard. And in the balanced scorecard, scorecards means performance measurements or performance indicators. Okay, and so how do we know that we perform? So balanced scorecards say we have to balance between the past, the present, and the future, which is what you're doing in your assignment, which we are talking about in terms of a concept called strategic orientation. And your job is to turn it into an action, which is the conduct of strategy. And balanced scorecard clearly demonstrated the concept, and really demonstrated the concept driving the conduct strategy through the balanced scorecard. And that is a very, very unique concept. It's a very, 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 very unique platform, balanced scorecard, demonstrating the trilogies of what? Trilogy of strategy. Let me go to the internet and show you. So if you look into this graph, which is not clear, but if you look into this graph it's a very, 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 very good examples on the trilogies of strategy, turning from a concept that needs to integrate past, present, and future into a conduct of strategy called strategy mapping, strategy map. So what is the attitude here? Tell me, where is the attitude here? Where is the competency? Where is the attitude here? So strategy, competitive strategy, if you go into the detail, there is no difference between competitive strategy and business competency and all this, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's only difference when we are at bachelor degree. It's only difference when we are at master degree. If you still make a difference at the PhD degree, that means your brain is not sophisticated. So where is the attitude here? In terms of the conduct of strategy. Well, the attitude is demonstrated in strategy map. The map. So what does it mean? It means that the professors are very, 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 very very, very strong professors, and they are from Harvard Business School. And so he came up with this strategy map based on the starting point, which is the balance scorecard that need to balance between past, present, future. I will demonstrate to you. And so what happened was that then if I figured it out, it's not only about balancing the strategic orientation in terms of time, but and it's not only about the strategy, it's about we have to show a map of strategy that integrate all the activity cohesively, that allow all the activity are cohesively integrated in such a way that it move in a direction. Like we can find a map to go from Chiang Rai to Chiang Mai. We can find a map from Chiang Rai to Bangkok. We can move. So there is a strong force, allowing us to be successful in a very clear manner. So the attitude is what? Synergy. The attitude is what? Integration. The attitude is what? Be directive. The attitude is what? The attitude is about mapping that gives people a map. Let our employees, let our organization has a map. And that map allows everybody to move in a common, forceful direction, and that realizes the competitive advantages of the company. In terms of what? In terms of, for example, it is very rare that other company has this ability. We have the ability of this strategic cohesion. That is called rare. That is called what's competitive advantage. That rare of the competencies moving in an integrated manner like this move our company to accomplish our goal, long-term shareholdership. That is called competitive strategy. And very difficult to imitate, copy. Why? Because we need a culture of understanding to implement this map. Just like if you and me do not have a culture of understanding, you and me will always be so far away, even though we are so close. We are so far away. Why? Because culturally we are not in tune. So the culture in tuning means our principles are in tune. It means that we have a common understanding. It means we have a common mindset that drive our company to be successful in the way revealed and expressed by the strategy map. And that is valuable to the shareholders and customer and all the employee in the business processes, all the supply chain, and everybody else involved in learning and growing. That is value. So in other words, where is competitive strategy manifested? VRIO. So competitive strategy means what? Means your business competency is VRIO. Variable, rare, inimitable, cannot be copied, and organized like a map. VRIO. You guys should know. This thing is starting from the textbook of the first year of universities all the way to today. It's not something very extraordinary. So how do you gain competitive advantage? How do you know your action, your strategy, your action, the way of competition? The way of competition is it has competitive advantage over your competitors. Is your action, your activities that you are doing, VRIO, valuable to people. Rare, not many people do the way you're doing. Inimitable, not copying. People cannot copy. Organize in a map. Did you see all the maps? And you buy the map in Myanmar, buy the map of the Chiang Rai, buy a map of Chiang Mai. Do you see the map is organized? It's an organized map. So when a map is organized, what happened? You can go quickly. from one end to another end, from another 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 end to another end. So when something gets organized, it flow. So if you are not organized, you do not flow. If your team is not organized, you do not flow. If your organized is not organized, your asset stuck under inventory. Your asset does not flow. Your asset does not flow. It does not generate cash. So every time, no matter what, whether we are putting on slide or whether we are discussion or whether we are do this or do that, every time is opportunity to study and everything is the same. So where is the past? Where is the present? Where is the future? In this map. When you are learning something that is for the future, your future investment, and your future investment is putting into the present processes, maybe a couple of present, future processes that you want to develop. And then you are targeting on the present moment, which is your customer. And then the money come in, that is your past. So financial accounting is your past. This is the past, this is the present, and this is the future. So the future drive the present drive the past. Wow, interesting, very interesting. It looks like the past drive the present, drive the future. And no, Harvard Business University professors has a concept that talk about the conduct of strategy in terms of balanced scorecard. They talk about and say that the present, the future drive the present, that the present drive the future. Wow, interesting, interesting, interesting. Anyone against? No. Vision and mission is your future. Your vision is your future. Huh? Your mission, your vision is your future. Your mission is the present. So why you ask for a vision? Because you want to use your vision, your future as inspiration. You want to use your future inspiration. You want to use your future dream and to drive your company. But that is a dream level. But this learning and grow is not the dream level. It's the activities level, competencies level. So what does it mean? It means you've got to develop your business competency and then turn into a systematic competency we call business process competency. And then we can deliver value to the customer. And then we can gain what we want to do financially. And then you have the net worth, right? You have the asset, you have the asset, you have the how to utilize it, you know how to utilize your asset, okay? And then you have a lot of the, if you need money, you just go and borrow the money. If you do not want to borrow the money, account payable. Otherwise, you just design your system in such a way that the cash, working capitals can make sure that is allowing to circulate around. And then at the end of the days, and the net worth and equities comes into the picture. So any difference between this page and your financial structure, accounting structure? No different. There's no difference. It's all the same. So you spend 3 years. I spent 3 year classes on accounting and financial. You tell me I do not learn, but I know upside down strategically. I may not go into the details. I do not know much, but I know strategically. I know how to control people, manage people, lead people. That's why I was having a position as a vice president or group technical manager for $20 billion company. And when you get into the pictures of a holistic manner, so I just like these Zappos connections with UPS. And then slowly back in a couple of years now, there was connections with Amazon, Amazons.com. So what happened? You have Zappos business model, you have Amazon's business model, you have the UPS business model, and every models generates a lot of data and generates a lot of knowledge, which is theory. And the theory of one model and one company and another companies now can get into what? Cloud computing, cloud system. So we can have a giant computers in the world that managing each other's without even we know about it. Yes or no? Yes, O2O, offline to online system. Example, Uber, Grab Food. I can just close my eyes and let the computer run the business. Yes or no? Can I close my eyes and let the computer run the system, run the business by itself, suggest the food that I need to design, suggest which stock I have to put, I have to prepare more tomorrow, suggest the shortages and raw materials planning, requirements, human resource planning, suggesting the cash flow management, yes or no? Yes, I do not need to work on it. Everything is taken over by computer. Today, we already can do it. It's not artificial intelligence, that kind of artificial intelligence, but at least it is a logical situation. Artificial intelligence has many different levels. At the very minimum level, we are talking about what? Logic control. Fuzzy logic, logic control. One, if this situation happened, that situation is. If this situation happened, take that initiative. If we see this, we will do that. That is called logic. No thinking, no cognitive artificial intelligence thinking. That is, that is the next step. So step by step. We are moving into that direction. So if we still every day talk about 4P, talk about all these Michael Porter's forces and constrained within that block. So if our concept is being constrained within that block, we will think in that block. Just like I mentioned to you before, if we are constrained by the block of Porter's 5 forces, bargaining power to supplier, bargaining power to customer, new entry trade, substitute trade, rivalry, and then every day when we try to come up with a strategy, our conceptual boundary is like this. So it's kind of putting a 5 force on our head, and then our thinking, if anything want to cross the wall, it just bounce back. And so our conduct, our SWOT analysis is going to be this constraint within that boundary. When we slowly open up this boundary, become inductive, data turn into theory, inductive. Like open up, just observe the data, let it flow, let it come, let it flow. You will have a lot of strategy we call theory. And if you go over to a textbook, I'm not so sure I have a textbook here. If I have a textbook, I will show you the theory, the U theory, which is written by the MIT professors, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Let me see. This thick textbook, this whole textbook from MIT professors, it's really nothing but data theory. What did it say? It said that we don't jump into the conclusion through our fixed concept. So strategy map, strategy trilogy says that we do not, if we restrain our concept, our conduct will follow our concept in that particular zone. That will reduce our creativity. So based on the theory U concept of MIT professors, let's say if you want to make your company to be the best of the best of the best of the best of the best, you have to do just like that. Don't be constrained by the view. Don't be constrained by the concept, and let you just be a part of the universe. Merge with the data, be a part of the universe, merge with the data, and be mindful. Be mindful, no judgment, no judgment, no judgment, no hatred, no delusion, no desire. Everything's quiet, 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 like meditation. Quiet, 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 quiet. Suddenly, bam, theory come out. Every PhD student's strategy need to read. You see, do you read? Do I need to force you to read? No, you have to read by yourself. This is today's era. It's not textbook driven. You have to find solution by yourself. You have to teach yourself. I am your facilitator. I'm not spoon feeding you. I show you, you have to read. You have to find. This is today's practices. So this will be a very, very important, powerful next generation. It's coming to this generations already. This generation's very powerful business ecological system model. This one. Okay. So if you go to the theory of yield model, let me show you this graph, this picture. So if you go to the theory of yield model, theory of yield model, so theory, data, and theory. So what happened? Back to your trilogy, back to the trilogy of the strategy. The trilogy of strategy says three very important elements. One of them is the context. Your context, your environment. It could be your internal environment, it could be your external environment, and another one is your concept, and another one is your conduct, the way you're doing things, your strategic action, activities, whatever. And that three elements form the important ingredients of making your company successful. That means creating competitive strategy. That means developing your business competency. And we really already understood from theory U and from so many examples, which I will illustrate one more, is that the concept, Michael Porter Foster's concept or SWOT concept, will determine will put up a boundary for your action. That is already shown in this graph. Your knowledge right here at the top drive your action. Your actions produces consciousness, which leads you to be conscious in any particular zone. So you have this knowledge. This knowledge will take you to take action. Take action, which is your conduct. So the concept will drive you to start your conduct. Start your conduct. And the knowledge will drive your conduct. Your conduct will bring your attention, consciousness in that particular zone. That is the reasons why we are stuck in that zone. Our consciousness is in that zone. Only see hatred, only see delusion, only sees the desire. So our delusion bring us to the consciousness or actions of hatred. Our delusion bring us to actions of desire. Our action of hatred and desire bring us to consciousness, only paying attention and get hurt in the hatred zone, or only paying attention in the desire zone, or get hurt in the desire zone. And then again and again and again and again and again and again, non-stop. And we, based on this spiritual idea and strategic idea, we are already moving into what? Quantum computing, quantum physics. We already moved from here to quantum physics. We can communicate, boom, like this. I can communicate 20, let's say 50 billion light years away, alien. There's an alien right there. I can immediately, hi, alien, how are you today? The alien already know my message. This one, quantum consciousness. Every countries are developing into quantum computers. There's no need iPad. No need computers. So concept-wise, let me show you an example, which is on the concept, which is so your views, your concept drive your action, drive your consequence results. Okay, but I want to bring you to this concept, which is okay, which is the rich daddy and poor daddy. Okay, rich dad and poor dad. Rich dad and poor dad. Okay, so the rich dad and poor dad has this situation, and so the poor the rich dad and the poor dad depends on the concepts on your debt and asset. Okay, and how you going to utilize your asset? How are you going to utilize your debt? Are you going to utilize your debt in this way, or are you going to utilize the debt in this way or in that way? That creates a different concept. We will talk about it when the futures come, but at this moment, it's your assignment, and I want you to explore. Okay, so so if I don't explain, you can use that to help you focus on your explanation. But I have already explained it to the yesterday sessions on the rich dad and the poor dad. The rich dad, the poor dad will focus on, oh, I have a lot of liability. I have a lot of liability. I have a lot of liabilities. I have a lot of liability. I hate the liability. And the rich dad will say, well, I really love the liability because the liability is going to help me do something. So one side is trying to pay the money to settle down the liability. Another side is trying to utilize the liability for your asset driven. To drive your asset utilization, and it's not the asset stock; it's the asset flow. Okay, so it's we're back to your third classroom's